2021 was definitely a long year for us BL fans. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, I thought I would just give you guys some of my personal favorite BL series from 2021. I am going to include series that were released fully this year or have episodes that mostly take place from this year. So that being said, I'm not gonna be including Not Me, as amazing as that series is so far, because most of the episodes appear to be released next year, 2022. But if I were to bend the rules a little bit, sure, it would be in my personal top 10. Also, I am going to talk about some plot details of this series, so spoiler warning in case you haven't watched this series yet. But besides that, here's my personal favorite BL series from this year. Okay, first of all, let me go back to the beginning of this year with Manner of Death. Because the first thing that really drew me into this series was Maxwell. I mean, Kings. I called him my dad. Their chemistry is just amazing. It is fire. Besides that, the theme of this series, having it being like a sort of mystery and there's like a crime aspect to it, it was like a whole different genre that I personally have not really seen too much of just yet. I don't know, this type of genre, I feel like it really suits Max Tool and just their aesthetic. It was definitely a thrill ever since they first locked eyes at that bar up until they got engaged in the last episode. The next series on my list is the amazing series that it is, A Tale of a Thousand Stars. Now I did give more of my thoughts on this series in my A Tale of a Thousand Stars review, but to sum up my thoughts, the storyline, the acting, the production value of this series, I say it was amazing for us to see at the beginning of this year. And if I remember correctly, this series had to be held back because of the certain changes that they had to make into the story and the script. But I say, when we first watched it, it was well worth the wait. Now once that dramatic and heavy-hitting series ended, we got the more light-hearted Fish Upon the Sky. Now once again, I did make a review video for this series, so feel free to check that out. But to sum up my thoughts about this series, it was like very cute and fluffy and just a light-hearted series for us to watch every Friday. That being said, some of the parts of this series, whenever they tried to do comedic things, it didn't really sit well with me, to be honest. But for like the most part, I say they were able to deliver, especially when we had to follow the storyline between P and Mork. Okay, I know I said top 10, but I am going to be including this series that has 2 seasons. And that is We Best Love #1 for You and Fighting Mr. Second. I know I'm cheating, but they're kind of the same series anyway, so let's say it counts. It's my rules. Now with this story following Shuyi and Shide, also I'm sorry if I pronounced the names wrong. Please feel free to educate me. There was just something about this storyline following them competing against each other for years now, and then falling in love in college, and then that romantic relationship continuing up until they're in the workplace. To me, this series felt a bit like grounded and was very dramatic when it came to the storyline that it tried to give us. But honestly, in the end, I just really love how it all was able to play out and how it came to an end in Fighting Mr. Second. I just have a question for those of you who had to watch this live, because for me, I watched it when all the episodes were already released on VTV. But to those of you who had to wait for Fighting Mr. Second to be released, after that season 1 cliffhanger, how did y'all feel? Cause man, that was a pain to see when I first watched it. The next series on my list is Light on Me. Now I'm gonna keep plugging these series that I've made reviews for, so feel free to check out my Light on Me series review. But with this kind of slow burn and love triangle following type of story, to me this series kinda took a while for me to warm up to, because as I said, this is a bit of a slow burn. It's kinda slow in the beginning, but to those of you who have not yet watched it, later on, believe me, it is well worth watching. From episode 1 up until the finale. Plus hello, Shinu, best boy. Next series on my list is Beloved in House, I Do. One thing I gotta say about this series is that though the feelings of the characters were kinda already developing for most of the episodes, yet it was only fully established in the final episode. I would say the build-up is kind of what made me like this series. Like, we got to see Yujin and Shile as we got to see their dynamic with each other, from living under the same roof to in the workplace. Plus, I was kind of interested to see why Yujin wanted to have that rule of employees not being allowed to be in romantic relationships. So the build up until the finale, I say it was nice. Side note, while the main couple were trying to figure out their feelings for each other, then there was the side couple who were literally there living their best life. This next series I'm going to be talking about is called Papa and Daddy. Now what I did like about this series is just the story of the two fathers, Damien and Jerry, as they were trying to navigate their way through their own life and also raising their child. Because there's just something that I personally found it really cute and nice to see how these two fathers were trying to figure out their way on how to raise their child while also dealing with the challenges that come with it. Whether it be their jobs or what people are saying about their child having two dads. Though production wasn't really as high level as most of these series that I've mentioned are, I think the storyline is kind of what carries this series a bit more. Okay, next series is kind of a heavy one. It's called Call It What You Want. Now, this series is, yeah, as I said, a heavy one because it does deal with themes such as sexual harassment and the pressure that these actors face as they're in the entertainment industry. So if you were to watch this series, maybe proceed with caution if you find these themes a bit hard to handle. But I will say that this series was able to bring to light these issues that they were trying to portray. And if I'm not mistaken, this series is actually somewhat based on a true story. So that just hits hard even more if you think about it. So the storyline, plus I will always give props to these actors who are able to portray these emotions very well. Especially Michael, who played as Bass in the series. Cause man, his performance was just... I loved it. I felt everything through the screen. Okay, going to a more light-hearted series. Oh, why did I do that? I'm dizzy now. Again, I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, but the next series on my list is Kieta Hatsukoi, also known as Vanishing My First Love / My Love Mix-Up. This series actually came towards the end of the year, and all I gotta say about this series is just it's hilarious because Aoki in this series, he is kind of like a representation of how many of our minds are. There was just something with the way the actor portrayed this character. It felt very animated. So with that chaotic ball of energy, contrasted with Ida. So when you put these two together, okay, they balance each other out and they were pretty cute to watch. Honestly, besides the very funny moments throughout this series, to me it kind of felt more grounded and it actually felt a bit realistic when it came to how these characters dealt with their feelings. Because in one episode, when they admitted that they have their feelings for each other and they want to try to go out, instead of just immediately being like, can you be my boyfriend? Okay, sure. Instead, they wanted to just see where things go for them. And they wanted to take the time to get to know each other. Which I loved seeing how that played out. So with this series, it started as a misunderstanding with the eraser. And it turned into a very sweet thing. And it also ended with an eraser. Okay, last one! The one that I'm pretty sure is causing chaos around the world. Bad Buddy. Okay, this series, it's on a whole nother level. Because with this series, all I gotta say is that this is what happens when you have a great storyline and you take two amazing actors who also have amazing chemistry with each other. You get magic on screen. I just really like seeing this sort of Romeo x Romeo type of story. Like we see how Pat and Pran are really wanting to be with each other, yet they have to face these challenges by the people around them who pretty much hate each other's guts. Plus, I've been reading that many of the cute scenes were actually improvised by Om and Nanon. So I'm just like... my heart is weak. You know what, GMMTV? The fact that you released this towards the end of the year, well worth the wait. So that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and leave a comment down below what your favorite BL series from 2021 are. All my social media links will be in the description box below. Subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell post notifications so that you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video whenever I could possibly make one in 2022. Goodbye.